officers at Occupy Wall Street protest events. They were giving illicit drugs, reportedly, to teenagers. Whatever happened to all that?
Well, essentially, I worked with a significantly large group of people from several different organizations to help bring that news forward. The accounts of people that were given drugs and offered drugs to become informants and that kind of thing. It prompted a very large national discussion about similar things happening, similar tactics, drugs being used in informant contexts. So I think that was helpful to raise awareness that that type of tactic exists. However, on the local level and the state level here, people like the FBI and the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension have been asking questions. A few fingers got pointed when one officer stepped forward and said, yes, this was going on. But since then, they've tried really, really hard to bury it. They just want to pretend that it never happened. They want to forget that all of this happened. But that's not going to work. People are going to keep pressuring them to spit out the truth, come to their final reports and then get some reform at the legislature, because the underlying DRE program itself is kind of ridiculous. It is used to just basically deem that people are intoxicated based on certain physiological symptoms that are not substantiated. So even on that level, the program is ridiculous, and I could predict that people are going to want to intervene further against this thing.
Well, and thanks to you for bringing attention to to the public. Otherwise, who knows what would be going on. So, hey, Dan Fite, thank you for joining us once again. Keep us posted on any developments on the training manuals, all that stuff. It's good to have you on our side, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Hey, thank you so much. It's great to be with you.
All right, take care. All right, once again, our top story on INFOWARS.com. Army manual outlines plan to kill rioters and demonstrators in America. You can download the PDF document and see it for yourself. Also, Kurt Nimmo has added a detailed report about the document's plans for gun confiscation. Again, all this information breaking right now on our website. And at the beginning of that interview, I've got so many of these documents are being released, it's really hard to keep track of all these. But we're talking about the re-education camps. This is a related document that was also recently released. A leaked U.S. Army document prepared for the Department of Defense contains shocking plans for political activists to be pacified by PSYOP officers into developing an appreciation of U.S. policies. So there you go. Those people will be detained in prison camps inside the United States. Meanwhile, in Afghanistan, a helicopter strike blasts an Afghan man to pieces while the pilot sings "Bye Bye Miss American Pie." The video is actually on liveleak.com. It appears to be from an Apache helicopter. Let's take a look.
Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Good hit. Nice.
Now, according to the caption on the website, the victims were innocent farmers who were planting poppy seeds in the middle of the road. So there's, that is yet to be verified, but we'll keep you updated on that. Now, more TSA news, as Lee Rockwell recently broke a story of yet another bizarre power trip by the TSA, as a new policy allows them to order travelers to freeze on command. And if you think this bizarre power trip behavior of the TSA couldn't get any crazier, think again. The federal agency is now ordering travelers that they, the ones passing through security, they now have to freeze on command. And we just recently reported yesterday how they're also demanding to test drinks purchased by passengers after they have already gone through the naked x-ray scanners and the grope downs. So even once you go through all that, and let's say you stop at McDonald's, I wouldn't do it, but let's say you do, get a Coke or an iced tea, then the TSA, they want to come test your drink even after you've gone through all that. So this is basically prisoner training. This is a preparatory state to get you used to, people in uniform yelling at you, getting you used to people in uniform filling you up, filling your children. And, the police state is not coming, folks. It's already here. Up next, Rand Paul, after blasting the Senate last week for passing a 600-page bill that obviously nobody has had time to read, Senator Rand Paul introduced legislation that could force the Senate to actually read the bills. Well, there's an idea. He introduced legislation that would force the Senate to give its members 1 day to read bills for every 20 pages they contain. So it sounds like a good idea. I guess it looks good on paper. It's about time that we actually require them to actually read the bills. But at this point, I'm not sure what difference it's going to make. I mean, seriously, if you think about it, even if, let's say, the Congress and the Senate had time to read, for example, the Patriot Act, I'm sure they would have passed it anyway because they no longer represent the people. They work for the corrupt, well, the offshore banking cartel that control them and the president. So thank you, Rand Paul, for introducing that legislation, but you're going to have to do better than that. All right, up next, did you hear about this? This is a couple days from now, you might lose access to the internet. And that is because the FBI plans to shut down temporary DNS servers that replaced fraudulent servers operated by hackers. So this will be a blackout in response to the DNS Changer Trojan. That was the malware program that basically paralyzed the functioning of all kinds of websites. Looks like some 360,000 internet users are still using the rogue servers. So you might lose access to the internet on Monday if you're one of those people, but it's only temporary. But no doubt the authorities want to use this hacking incident as another excuse to take total and complete control of the web. So, hey, we have Joseph Farah news. Now, Joseph Farah was recently on the Alex Jones show just yesterday, and he's the WorldNet daily editor, and he's a big-time critic of the Obama administration. And he's on his property in Northern Virginia, and lo and behold, he looks up in the sky over his tree line, and he sees a drone. He said it sounded like a lawnmower because he lives in one of the most rural, secluded places that you could possibly live in Northern Virginia. And there could be only one thing that the drone was spying on, and that was Joseph Farah. So why would they want to spy on him? Well, here's a clip from the Alex Jones show just yesterday. Let's take a look.
What do you expect the power structure to do? Because in my view, in my analysis, their credibility is draining away. I mean, how many armored vehicles, how many hollow point bullets, how many helicopters, how many drones, how many SWAT teams? I mean, we know the system knows we don't like them and that they have a 9% approval rating in Congress, and their answer is, we're going to arm to the teeth against you and say that Mom and Apple Pie and George Washington are terrorists.
That's right. Well, I think like you, I have a lot of optimism because I have a lot of faith, not necessarily in the majority of the American people anymore, but in a very, very healthy segment of the American people who are not going to take this stuff laying down. By the way, Alex, remember when you were in my office in Virginia, one of my crew asked if you had ever seen a drone, and you answered no, you hadn't. I get back home within a week or two of that conversation. I'm taking my dog for a walk, and guess what I see right over the tree line, right above my head, is a drone.
Incredible.
So if anybody calls you crazy, Alex, for talking about the drones, you can just send them my way, and because I've seen it with my own eyes. I only wish I had my cell phone camera to get a picture of it. That's why I haven't said anything about it publicly before.
Now, how high was it? Was it a low?
Oh, it wasn't high at all. And I didn't even know. At first, I couldn't even make out what it was because it had such a weird sound. It sounded like there was a lawnmower over my head, and it looked like nothing I had ever seen before. So I immediately jump on the internet. I start looking up drones, and I'm seeing things that resemble what I saw. And one of the characteristics I saw described was it can sound like a lawnmower over your head, for crying out loud. So that was my confirmation that for some reason, and then I later found out that in Northern Virginia here, Even the police departments are using drones.
And now they want to arm them, and all over the country they've been using them for surveillance. We found the EPA documents where in 2009 they were doing it, and they ran a national story saying INFOWARS ran a hoax, Drudge picked it up, so did WorldNet Daily, all these other evil publications, hundreds of articles, nightly news shows, Media Matters, what a joke. And then they played a straw man because the article we wrote also linked to a local story in the Dakotas where they were, and other states where they were complaining about calling them drones because they just arrested those cattle rustlers, alleged cattle rustlers, using a predator. But then they conflated it, mixed it in with the EPA Cessnas they're using to spy on farmers. The point is they're spying with everything, and they spun it with a straw man that we'd made it up when they're announcing 30,000 of them in the FAA budget in the next decade.
You see, it's talk like that that'll apparently get unmanned drones sent to your property. And well, now it appears that drones are targeting journalists who oppose the Obama administration. Looks like target practice to me, but I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to our quote of the day. This one by Adolf Hitler. Without law and order, our nation cannot survive. That was Adolf Hitler. Did you know that Hitler only had one testicle? Honestly, it's a historical fact. You can look it up, and I like to point it out every chance I get. So anyway, that's going to do it for the first half of the show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Aaron Dykes is joined by Emmy Award-winning author John Loftus. They're going to discuss his book, America's Nazi Secret. You don't want to miss this interview because they're going to talk about the CIA recruitment of Nazi war criminals. This was during, of course, the aftermath of World War II, as well as the modern recruitment of Muslim extremists and how the U.S. Justice Department concealed this information from the 9/11 investigators. A powerful interview with John Loftus right after this.
Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure, and it's available discounted at INFOWARS.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. INFOWARS.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at INFOWARS.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
Hi, I'm Christy Hightower,